Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. This is episode 122 of the NgoVo Convo podcast, where two stupids make a hype.
Yes. Right.
Right.
It's hype.
It's hype this week.
It's hype this week.
Yeah, hella. Super hype.
Jinx.
Because it is. But I'm also one of your hosts, Harrison O, and I'm joined by Veronica Vo. She's over there somewhere.
I'm here.
She's here. Can't confirm.
I'm here.
But if you're new here, we just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics, more anime than comics, but mainly just to clean up our never-ending backlog. Some would say, though, Veronica, we're conversing.
Wow, like NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. Logos above Harrison's head.
Right there.
Right there.
You can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice. We're on everywhere? Everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like to check with HR once in a while, just to kind of make sure.
Wow, okay.
But in this episode, we're going to be talking about Ahsoka, specifically her show.
Yes.
This is so cool. It's on Disney
Really
Plus.
cool.
If you haven't watched the entire series, it's like 8 episodes. Pretty quick.
Yeah.
It looks
really
long,
quick.
but remember, Disney Plus has long credits.
Yes.
Because every time we watch it, my wife's like, "Hey, check the end." I'm like, no. Look, hover over, and it's just the credits. And I'm like, yeah.
15 minutes of credits.
Yeah. I mean, good on them for crediting a lot.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, give that a watch. You'll probably finish in a weekend for sure. If you just watch a day and a half, day 2 days.
That's impressive.
They weren't that long, if I remember.
Each episode was about 40, 45 minutes. I think the longest was probably like 50.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
yeah.
But per usual, we'll give our quick non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
Really quick, I guess off the bat, for those that are wondering, who is Ahsoka?
Who is she?
I would recommend right away, if you're curious, you kind of do have to watch Clone Wars. You don't have to. They gave info, but I think the impact of a lot of things that you watch and see in the show hit harder if you watch Clone Wars. In its entirety. There is we have done this. There's essential episodes that you can watch. I'm sure Disney's curated something too for Ahsoka, but a lot of it is the essential Clone Wars episodes that will also lead into the final season.
Which they cut a lot, but it's just, it works out.
Yeah, you get the impact.
Yeah, you get the impact.
You get the gist.
Which is what we did. We watched the essential episodes.
And I think it would help if you watched Rebels, the show.
Mm-hmm.
We did not. I've seen clips. I've seen tidbits from when it was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, me too.
But not enough to. I haven't
Understand
actually.
everything.
I wouldn't say I watched it. Right.
Yeah.
I know who the characters are, but I'm sure if you've watched it in its entirety, it would hit. It would also be a treat, right?
Oh yeah.
With a lot of
I agree.
So, just wanted to put that out there first because classic Disney show kind of gatekeepy.
Yeah.
Low key.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little gatekeeping.
But I would also add that did you watch this just by yourself, or did your husband watch with you at all on this one?
Just by myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got my wife to watch this with me just because she does like Star Wars to some point.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, I can tell she enjoyed it. And this is like her not watching anything.
Oh.
Like she had no.
She had no idea.
She had no idea about the characters and all that. So for her, she actually enjoyed it.
Okay.
That's
so
it.
it can work.
So that's why I'm like, that's like a quick non-spoiler. Like if you haven't seen stuff, it could work. If you are that curious, like if you ask questions of who, what, you may want to watch the essentials.
Yeah.
But for her, she's not. She'll watch and she enjoyed the show still. So.
Okay, that's actually really good to know.
Yes. So I just wanted to add that.
You don't have to watch.
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
Because I would be freaking out about stuff, and of course she's like, "Oh, this must be important."
She's like, "Oh."
Oh, okay. She wouldn't ask right away because she'll just wait until after this episode, and she'll be like, because she always waits until just to make sure if it's explained.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, all right, so this is this person, blah blah blah, and then yeah. So anyway, that is a side review of a different perspective. But for your perspective, Veronica, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. Not a fun fact, but just a fact. The actor of Raylon, he died before Ahsoka even aired. He died this past spring.
Yes.
So I think he has been trending throughout the series of like people just like remembering him.
Yeah. Just to clarify, you said Raylon. Did you say Balin? And the actor's
Balin.
name is Ray Stevenson.
Oh, I think I combined his name.
So I sat there, I'm
like something.
Who? But yeah. No, isn't that's really sad,
It's sad.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. So that's a fact. So he couldn't even get to see people love his acting because I think he had one of the best acting in the series. Ray Stevenson really brought that character to life. And we'll talk about that a bit more because there's like some things that once I found out, because I forgot until I watched after. And it's really... No, but I loved Ahsoka. Obviously, like Harrison said, I've seen Clone Wars, just essential episodes, but those essential episodes really make a big impact. Like, you really get to follow Clone Wars to its fullest, and you get to understand Ahsoka a little bit more. It's kind of crazy to see her as an adult, honestly. Because in Clone Wars, if you don't know, it's kind of a spoiler. She's a kid in the wars, so it's just really crazy to see her impact here as an adult. But yeah, no, I loved it. Originally, this was supposed to be 6 episodes, but Disney extended it to an extra 2.
It's funny because I will say this off the bat. I wish they extended it by one more. I wish it was a 9 episode.
No, yeah.
I think that last episode was kind of rushed, but again,
no, I agree.
I don't know how I would change it personally. So
yeah. I mean, for example, Andor is 12 episodes.
It's 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I don't know if it's a gripe or con. I don't know if you have any. Do you have any?
The first one that I mentioned was I wish they extended.
Just the extending. For me, I know it's kind of spoilery, so I'll put it in the spoiler section.
No, it's put in the spoiler section.
Well, yeah.
But
I'll put that in my gripe.
Can you be
but
big
I do
about
have
it or
one
no?
gripe.
Okay, one gripe. Okay.
No, I can't.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. That's okay.
Overall, it was a good season for Ahsoka, a character that we all know and love. Just to have her own show was really nice because she's been sprinkled in to a lot of other like Star Wars shows, basically.
She was sprinkled in Mando. Yes. Yep. But I will say, I think my only con I think is possibly pacing, but the pro, it kind of ties in with the pro for me. I think they do a very good job. There's a lot of characters that they introduce, essentially first time introduced as a live action. And so that's the pacing is bad to me in that on certain things where they had to explain some things, but otherwise I think it's great. My pro is that, which trumps it in a sense, they do a very good job for the first time. I think personally for me, it feels like we're actually going into the Star Wars world, while for a while Mando just kind of did a lot of cameos and just to show like, hey, this world is connected. But for once, I think we are delved into what the conflicts were and how they were tied together, and that's why I think it is it feels like you do have to have required watching, but it still makes sense with how much they explained. So I think it was good. That's why I felt like they still need to give one more episode just in case.
No, I totally agree. The last episode was a little rushed.
Yeah. Otherwise it felt like it was a build up. I know for some this may be I think that adds to the suspense though, on the plot.
Yeah.
And overall, I think it was still a fun watch. I think it just feels nice to have lightsabers. I think that's the big thing.
I know.
The plus for me is
really
like,
nice.
wow, we get to have Jedi stuff, right? And it feels like, I mean,
true Jedi stuff, not like skipping over like saying the word Jedi and everything, but like actual.
He's a Jedi. Oh, that's a Jedi.
Yeah.
That's why I meant like a lot of the older shows just felt like it name drops things like concepts.
Yeah.
Maybe some people, but
Yeah.
in this one it
Luke
felt like,
Skywalker, like
yeah, they'll just name. I mean, yeah. So I don't want to get. I almost was like getting into this.
You almost
part,
said,
but overall, I think I had the most fun, and I want to add this just because it's fun to see like my wife get into this because she likes Star Wars, but she's not like hardcore into it.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, this show made me realize how much more info. I thought I'm not that super deep into it, but this show at least showed me like, oh, okay, I at least have some knowledge.
You know some stuff.
I know things.
Yeah, but now we both have to watch Rebels.
Yeah. No, yeah. Also, I want to add Dave Filoni really does add the touch of like Star Wars things that makes it really good.
The love that Star Wars needed.
Yeah. Like essentially to me he is like the Dave Feige of like MCU, right?
MCU, yeah.
So Dave Filoni is like actually like, oh, he knows his shit. So it's good.
He put in the love.
There's so many and then there's when they do throwbacks here, it's good for throwbacks.
Oh, it's so good.
So I only have a lot of praise and like, oh, this is a fun watch. And I still kind of put this below Andor. I'm not going to give a rating. I think I still like Andor a bit more, but not like
I think Andor was intense.
Yes.
That's what Andor was.
Yes. And it's a different type of cinematography, right?
Yeah.
And this one is more Disney, if anything, but also just as much Star Wars. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I was going to say Ahsoka was going to be above Andor, and then I watched the last episode, and I was like, no, let me change my mind. I think Andor's a little bit better.
Yeah. I think for what we'll talk about the details. I think there's more detailed at this point. So if you got anything else,
let's get into it.
Let's just get into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So I guess we'll just start off with chunks. For plot, do you feel like this was because I know I mentioned pacing, but is that how did you feel like it was not as bad, or what'd you think?
It was a bit choppy in the middle, and I want to say in the middle because there was a flashback episode 5, which was like peak episode, I think, for everyone. It got screened in theaters and stuff, but yeah, I think that's when the pacing kind of got a bit off for me. Like, I could tell, like, they were kind of trying to jump back into the present. But I think they had to over-explain things to get the audience who don't know, like, your wife or, like, whoever who don't know Clone Wars to, like, understand it. So I get why the pacing was off. I think my gripe with it was, like, okay, they basically introduced a whole new planet, and it didn't feel...
Wait, which planet? Wait. The last one?
The last one.
Where
they got stuck.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. They basically introduced a whole new planet, and it didn't feel that impactful for me. And I don't know if it's because I need to watch Rebels or if it was like the pacing, but that was kind of like my gripe, because you know how Star Wars is. All the planets, all the universe, like, it's like big. It's like huge for them.
Yeah.
So the way, I think it might even have been the way they introduced the planet. But I don't know, it's a little off for me. It wasn't that as impactful as I would like it to be.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird. It was a little weird for me. That was my only gripe.
Okay. And I guess I'll just, in my opinion, that planet that they're stranded on, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a big deal in my head, because the whole Night Sisters thing, they were talking about Dathomir.
Yeah.
That's the bigger one, because that's where they're going to.
That's where they wanted to go, but they got stuck.
Yeah. So Dathomir is like the bigger one. Do you understand? Do you know about Dathomir?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So that's where I'm like, okay, that's a bigger reveal. It does feel like the planet that they're on is just like a set piece, if anything.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how they treated it, right? So I guess that's what you're...
Well, basically Thrawn was like, I'm just here for a little while. I have all the
pieces. It just feels big because the space whales.
Yeah.
it's where they go, right? For the whole like
Yeah.
That's why it was like kind of big, but I think it was just like kind of a set piece. It felt more like a set piece, and I guess I wasn't too it didn't bother me too much.
Like it didn't bother you.
Yeah,
I think it was just I don't know.
it felt empty
I was
though.
just kind of yeah.
But it is
I
just
think maybe that's where
it is
that's a
just
better word for it.
It is just a deserted planet, though. They really
Yeah.
did say it. They're like, it's just kind of we're stuck here. Okay. Yeah.
That's my only gripe, the planet
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I think Okay, I get that. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
I can see why it's not a big deal, but I think empty is a really good word.
It
for
felt
that
empty.
planet.
It did feel
Yeah.
empty.
No, it did.
And they stayed there the entire time. So,
They-
I understand.
The last, like, what, 3 episodes?
was
Maybe
like-
4?
It was half of the season.
Yeah, it was like half the season, right? Yeah, 4 episodes.
Because it was more exciting to see Coruscant and then, like, going around to other planets real fast,
Yes.
right? So, I get it,
That
right?
was cool.
I get, like, the set piece felt kind of... At the end, it was, like, half the season. And they're like, okay, we've been here, like, the entire time.
Too long.
Yeah. So, I get it. So, I understand. I just
Yeah.
treat it as, like, okay, we're stuck here. Because it actually feels like we're stuck here. Right?
They were. I mean, they were.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I get the vibe. Like it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It got the vibe going. Yeah. But with that, so I'll jump to my big gripe, but it kind of goes into a pro. If the pacing felt like they had to drag a bit in the beginning half because they had to introduce so many characters,
so
they had to
many
like show
people,
essentially
yeah.
one. We had, for most people, it's like they introduced Ahsoka off the bat.
Off the bat.
If you haven't seen Mando, then this is the first time you hear about her, but you've seen her throughout Mando for a couple times in 2 of the seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, but then we get introduced a lot of the rebel characters, right? We get introduced to Hera, we get introduced to Sabine, we get introduced to like the two, and then of course like the two Sith, quote unquote Sith,
Yeah.
Balin and Shin.
Shin?
Yeah.
Her acting was superb.
Her acting
Oh
was
my God.
really good.
It was really good.
Like it was.
The makeup, like her like reactions to everything, it was great.
I do want to know more about her, and that's like another thing we'll touch
Yeah.
on. But yeah,
Yeah.
they introduce a lot of characters. And
Ezra who's a big Rebels character.
he's like the main dude. Essentially,
He's
he's
the
the main
main
character
guy.
in Rebels. So that's why if
Yeah.
someone you don't know Sabine and all this, they're looking for Ezra because he's missing.
Yeah.
But now they brought him into live action, which I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. So I think that's why like first half was like introducing and getting you into like the world, but then it leads to me into what I loved about the series on this season was this show was able to take bits and pieces of like everything, and I didn't know how to explain it until I talked to one of my friends that's like super into Star Wars. For me, I was just, it felt like sorry. My wording was, I felt like it was the world building was done so well here.
No, yeah, it was.
It felt like they
It
pulled a
was.
lot of Star Wars, and I didn't understand until like my friend was like, they pulled bits and pieces of every property and put it
Which is
into
great.
this, and they just integrated it, but it felt smooth. It felt like it was
Yeah.
actually like there. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly it. Yes, it just showed
You're like,
how.
yes, this is it.
And I'm like, there's so much stuff going on. So, and for some, I don't know if that's a for us, like, because we know Star Wars, and I was worried that my wife would get like over,
Get
too
lost,
much.
yeah,
And she's like,
yeah.
no, I got like, I'm like, oh yeah, if I think I would have to Google just to make sure like who are these people, and if I get it, all right, cool. I'm like, all right. So,
But it's nice that it's not too gatekeepy.
not yes, it
Yeah.
builds you, it gets you into it, right? So
Yeah.
that is a nice thing. So, otherwise, yeah, they pulled a lot of other characters from previous stuff, like the that one pilot dude that keeps coming back.
Yes, he
That was
keeps
cool.
coming back.
So that was cool.
I saw him
Alright.
again. I was like, this man is back again.
Yeah. So I think that's like plot wise. Otherwise, once it picked up, it was cool, and I think it was great.
The fighting was great.
So
miss Star Wars fighting.
yes, I will add this. This is my one tidbit, and I just want to get your thought points on it. I've seen this online though. I like the Star Wars fighting because I just miss having lightsabers. That's the thing, right?
I miss lightsabers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
some people online though still complain about how stiff the movements were.
Really?
But I don't know. So for those of you that aren't aware, I forgot this, but you remember how people praised they ragged on George Lucas for using CGI a lot
Yeah.
in the prequels, because those lightsabers like were CGI, not like practical effects. So that's why with all the new stuff, any lightsabers you see is practical effects. It's actually like lighting up and everything.
Lighting up, yeah.
Think about it though. When you move around with that, it's heavier.
Oh, it's heavier.
But that's why when they're like, oh, but look at the fighting in like episode 3. Look at how Hayden Christensen and like essentially the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. They're like, that's so fluid, blah blah blah. It's because it's legitimately just a lighter stick.
A lighter
so
stick.
that's why like that's why you see like Anakin do his move and you're like, damn, that's so cool. So that's why I don't rag on it too much, because it's the fans' fault.
I didn't feel like it was.
It wasn't that bad. I thought it was okay.
It wasn't that bad. Ahsoka did her moves, her usual moves, but it's now live action.
Yeah. It was weird though. I will say the only weird part for me is like knowing how Ahsoka is in this show, the lightsaber movement to me it didn't feel as fluid, but I think that's just a transition from animation to
I think it's from like
action.
animation to live action.
That's why I don't knock on that too much. I know. I understand.
Hey, she did her best.
Yeah. Did you have any characters that you didn't vibe with though? I'm just curious.
Not that I remember.
Okay.
No. I think I thoroughly enjoyed everyone.
Yeah. Can we go back to what you mentioned? Balin Skull, the Ray Stevenson character?
Yeah.
So good. Also.
Isn't he really good?
So that
the history between him and Ahsoka is great.
Yeah.
Cause he's like, you're a master, yada yada yada, and I was like, he talked about me.
I mean, it's cool to know, like, because everyone knows about Anakin Skywalker, right? So of course they're like, yeah, you're a master, duh. She may not know them, but it's like it's that whole she may not know them, but everyone knows of them.
Everyone know of them
because they're like the stars of like the essentially
stars.
Because that's everyone knows them, right? Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch Weekly?
Yes, until the last episode, because I was actually out, and so I watched the last episode like as of recording yesterday. But yeah, I did watch it weekly.
Man, okay, so I flipped out when I saw Anakin
Episode
Skywalker.
5?
Yeah.
I was waiting because I was watching weekly and no one else in our group did, and I was like, I'm waiting.
I was curious, like, dude, you had to bite your tongue, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was like, I'm waiting.
Oh, that was such a good. Let's just gush on that for a bit.
You freaked out?
I freaked out. I freaked out on multiple occasions and for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
They were so detailed on how he looked at different points in time. Like,
dude, he was in his Clone War uniform.
And not just that, like, even the hair. They made it shorter. They made it different. Like, dude, Hayden Christensen, I don't care anymore. Was so good because he actually, when he talked with the cadence of like the show.
The show, yeah.
Like he had like whenever he like was acting, like the way he voiced Anakin was like how I would hear because I sat there, I'm like, he sounds just as cocky as he did in the show.
Hey, because it's him.
But everyone ragged on him so much in like the prequels. I'm like, dude, no. See, this is why he's good.
This is why.
Y'all suck.
No, but you know what's great about that Anakin? It was the transition when I freaked out when it was like foggy and then it was Anakin and then it wasn't. It was like Darth Vader and I was like
when it was like flashing with the war.
Yes.
It was just like go back and forth. I was like, dude, this is so cool.
This is really cool.
They even, and at that point, dude, they even did like Ahsoka, like they had a younger version of her too. I didn't expect that.
Did you recognize her?
I think I did, but
from Barbie. She's the actress from Barbie, and also she was baby Gamora.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I was like.
Yes.
That's why I sat there.
She's literally the younger version of like everyone.
She is so.
No,
it's
yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. I was like, damn. And they even it was just seeing all these characters or just aspects of Clone Wars in live action, just seeing like the clones themselves too.
Crazy to see them in live action, And like I said earlier, it's just crazy to see Ahsoka. She was literally like 14 or 15 when this war happened.
It adds.
And Anakin was like 19. He wasn't even that old.
Nope. Like it really.
Children of war. Oh my god.
It really hammered on that issue of like, hey, yeah, they're Jedis and they're peacekeepers, but they're literally just in war, at war, and it really shows. Like, it just really nailed the idea of no, this is all I can teach you because this is what we have to do, right? Mm-hmm. We're at war. I had to teach you about war. I'm like, dude, this is kind of depressing to think about, but it's actually it's really messed up.
It's messed up.
And I'm so glad they touched on that aspect with her, like with how she was feeling. Like, I don't want to fight.
She was conflicted.
It was conflicted.
Like she was in Clone Wars.
She's like, because after this, and it's her worry when. It was cool how they touched on like how Sabine was her apprentice, right?
Yeah.
And it's true. I would worry too if all I've known is war, and I now have an apprentice. What am I going to teach her? The Force? Yeah, sure, but I was taught how to kill all these droids. So.
I mean, the parallel is great.
Yeah. It's so good.
But Anakin, my boy Hayden.
Oh my god.
Back at it again.
Again, it was just, if you watch Clone Wars, you know that he goes through transitions of what he wears and his outfits, his hairstyle. It's just
his hairstyle.
They were consistent on that front, and I was flipping shit in my seat.
It was so well loved.
Yeah, it was
for him.
No, and then going back to the whole, just seeing like the clones even like in their old armor.
Yes, their old armor.
But seeing Rex's squad, they even showed Rex for a split second. I was like,
they did.
I was like, they showed him too. And of course my wife's like, she's like, oh, who's that? And I'm like, I was like, man,
good guy.
I was like, oh, he's a good clone. He's one of the better ones. Yeah, I mean, a quick snippet was like, do you know Cody? Commander Cody's under Obi-Wan. Yeah, this is Rex under Anakin, essentially. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Dang. I was like, I think she was just more wild with how much detail that I was freaking out at. So I think it was just enough like impact to be like,
she's like, okay.
That's a lot.
Dude, I love seeing Rex's squad like in live action.
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
Perfect.
Even when it was only for like one scene.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. And then I think what they did so well with the show, again, I think the issue is with pacing, but they touched on so many aspects of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
the Night Sisters, that's like, I mean, you see it in the Clone Wars, but I don't think they've ever shown it in live action, right?
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
They look a little scary.
I mean, they were in the game. They're in the.
Are they in the games?
They're in the 2 games. The one that what's his name? You know him. What's his actor? Hold on. The Fallen Order. Let me see. He's the one that I did the Joker in Gotham. He did something in
what's his name?
Give me a second. I'm just gonna pull up
We're
the
bad
actor
at
real quick.
names.
I am bad at names. And it's funny. I see his face right now too. I'm just like,
I know who you're talking about. I do see his face.
Actor.
You know what those sisters reminded me of?
Cameron Monaghan. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. They're in those
sisters
games.
reminded me of the nun, like from Conjuring.
Yeah.
They were looking a little too scary for me.
Yeah. Scurry. But
scurry.
Yeah, no, the Night Sisters played a bigger part in the video games and also the shows too. I mean, it was in the Clone Wars.
Wars, yeah.
Spoiler alert: they had Darth Maul. That was where he was at.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
They're the witchy side.
I mean, they straight up. I mean, that one Shane called them witches too.
Yeah, the witches.
Man, trying to think. There's so many other things, and there's just the little things, little jokes.
I think little jokes.
The droid.
I was not expecting that.
He was so good. He was David Tennant, dude. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know for half of the series until because I kept seeing David Tennant's name. You're like,
yeah,
where is he?
Where is he?
And lo and behold, he was Pu Yang the entire time. I was like, oh, oops.
Dude, that was like so funny. I loved it when he was like, I've been around a long time.
But it like pulls back all these like, you know, all these younger people, they don't, you know, they don't know too much. Like for instance, even Ezra Bridger, they're like, oh, you trained my master? I'm like, you know, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that.
I love how he's like, I know how to make a lightsaber. Don't you worry.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Trust me.
I've done it for eons. Man. Yeah, this is just so good. Let me think. We talked about characters.
Did you like Sabine?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Sabine?
I liked her. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was funny because I forgot that she had short hair in the series.
Yeah.
So the entire time I'm like, oh, she's nice with long hair, and then she cut it. I was like,
Well,
why?
no, she cut it, yeah.
And I'm like, oh wait, no, that makes sense. I forgot.
I liked her long hair.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah, I like how Hu Yang was like, yeah, if you were a youngling, you'd be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I was like, Hu Yang was just savage, low key savage.
But
very
still savage.
Straightforward, but super savage. And it was.
I love how in the training he's like, "They're there. You cannot fight any longer."
I was like, "Oh my god!" Dude.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you think you'd see Ezra Bridger?
Yes and no. I thought he was gonna die. I don't know, for some strange reason, my gut feeling was like, he's not alive, is he? But then he popped up, and I was like, oh. Here he is.
Oh, yeah, okay. I get what you mean. Yeah, I was a 50-50 of they would reveal that he already died or they would just bring him in. But I thought they would bring him in next season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I also didn't think we see enough of Admiral... oh my god, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. They kept saying his name. Holy shit. Grand Admiral... Give me a second.
Thrawn?
Thank you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I thought they would show Thrawn like later.
A little later.
Or at the very end as a reveal.
Yeah, he was sprinkled in a lot this season.
He was in like the last 2 episodes essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he was sprinkled in the middle too, a little bit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
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 Thrawn is great.
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
actor's
say
great.
The actor's really good.
The actor's great.
It's Lars Mikkelsen, right?
Yeah.
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 He did such a good job because it's like Thrawn's very calculating, right? So it just had that air about him. So.
And I just want to know how long he was sitting in that makeup chair for, because he was blue. He was literally blue.
Yeah.
All blue.
Man. And then I actually forgot about Hera has a kid.
Yes.
And I didn't put 2 and 2 together that she had a kid with Ezra's master. I can't remember his name, but because I was like, this kid sounds like he has the Force, but why? Oh, that's why.
That's why.
Man. Oh, if you hear a train, that's on my end.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else that like you could? I feel like this one was just. Did you feel that this show was too fan servicey though? I think that was my one worry. Or did they pull ass? I felt like they had to pull a lot and introduce a lot, but did you feel like it was too much, or did you feel like it was sprinkled throughout pretty well?
I thought it was sprinkled throughout pretty well.
Okay.
I must say the only fan service episode was the Anakin one, I think, because I don't think anyone was really expecting Hayden to come back, really.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because Hayden's been shit on for a little too long. I think that was the only fan servicey episode. But I think they sprinkled in everything else, I think, relatively nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
For that one, I felt like that was a needed episode, and I'm just happy that, because I think with the
it
reception
was.
From Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
people were excited again. So I think they were totally okay with just bringing him in. Do you feel like they did a little bit? They did the CGI on purpose this time though on him.
Yeah, they did.
Because he looks a lot younger.
No.
When in the Obi-Wan show, I felt like he looked older when he should have looked.
He looked
younger.
his age.
He looked his age. Well, in this one, they're like, okay, we gotta like touch up just a little
Yeah,
bit.
touch up a little bit.
Yeah, which is good.
No, yeah, he definitely looked a lot younger. But I mean, he did Anakin when he was in.
He's like
he was
20s.
like 19
or 19,
when he
20s.
started.
Yeah.
So obviously he was gonna look younger. I mean, he's 40 something now.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Yeah, I
he's
mean,
gonna be old.
thanks Hollywood. We got the
Yeah.
technology, so that worked out.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, because I did know, I was like kind of staring. I was like,
You notice? Yeah, I did too.
because we had Obi-Wan, right? So of course it would. I think I would have noticed right away. I wouldn't have noticed right away if I didn't see Obi-Wan. So
I think with Obi-Wan, they weren't. I don't think they were expecting
him to come back.
the love
Oh,
from for Hayden.
yes.
So I think they were kind of not doing like
As much as they could.
making him younger.
Yeah.
So I think with Ahsoka, with the reaction of Hayden, I think they knew they were
They had to, like,
"Let's
add
make
some
sure. Yeah.
Oh, and they poured in like, it's so good.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. And as much as I gush about it, I think I'm just happy to see how much the property that made versus like how the last trilogy worked out, where they just
trilogy?
pulled elements.
What trilogy?
You're right. You're right.
Hey, there's a new one coming out in the future. So.
Yeah. And I'm hoping for the best. So.
Yeah. Me too.
But I think I like this one so much because of how much they pulled in and how much they played around with the Star Wars universe. But I think overall, I can't tell if that's just like the honeymoon phase of like, oh, they did so good. But I think I still have some sense to be like, well, overall as a show, I think Andor was still more fluid. And I still like
superior one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's weird? Disney is getting Star Wars correctly a little bit better than their other properties.
Well, I think it is just because like Dave Filoni is working on this one, right? And they're finally getting him to like work on a lot of the other properties. I think what you're trying to say is it's better than MCU.
Yeah.
Well, I think MCU has had too much time and they're just constricted. I think they need to let up
true.
a little bit. I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Right now, I think Star Wars is just in that era of like, okay, they're trying to fix everything that was from the new trilogy, right? So
yeah.
I think
the
that's what's
trilogy
going on.
Don't exist.
You know what's also really sad? Speaking of, they brought out Leia. They
did.
Yeah, they couldn't show her, but they had
No,
to.
they couldn't.
They still because she still exists, right? So
Yeah.
like Hera was like, oh no, Senator Organa like got me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's still nice to know that they could bring her in, even though
Or
I'm
just say her name.
yeah, just name drop.
Yeah.
That moment is okay because I'm like, what else can they do, right?
Well, yeah. It's a little tricky now, right?
Yeah.
'Cause- Yeah.
But I guess overall, like we said, it's really good.
Yeah. Overall, it was really good.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess I don't have anything else. I was trying to think of like
No,
anything else, but we touched
I don't have
everything that I
anything
could gush
else.
about. So
Go watch it. If you're this far into our episode, just go watch it. You've already seen it.
go watch it again.
Comment down below your favorite parts.
Yeah, let us know if we. I know there was so much Easter eggs, honestly. So comment down below if you miss anything. I was trying to run through my head of like things I freaked out about, but I'm just overloaded at this point.
We freaked out over like the main ones.
Yeah.
So I think we were good. Yeah.
But if that's all, I'm just gonna go ahead and close it out.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to see when we upload stuff and get notified. You know, just
Yeah.
you know,
Everything.
And smash that subscribe button right below Veronica.
Smash.
The big red one. That's the important one.
Yeah.
Lets us know that we are at least, you know, putting stuff out that people like.
In your minds.
in your
in your feed.
But yeah, just let us know how we're doing in the comments, what we missed, what you liked about the show, because what you didn't like, because I know some people didn't like some things, but it's probably nitpicks. But yeah, just let us know how we're doing, what you want to see next, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.